Alrighty. So for number one, what we're trying to do is find an algebraic expression for cosine or cotangent of x. So what I'm gonna do first is, of course, draw out my little triangle. And what I want to do here is figure out where, oh, this is not a pretty triangle, where cotangent is in terms of my triangle. And in this case, remember that cotangent is x over y. So if I have 1 right here, this is essentially saying x and 1. And then if I want cosine, remember that cosine is essentially adjacent over hypotenuse, except I don't have my hypotenuse yet, so I have to figure out what that is using good old Pythagorean theorem. So x squared plus 1 squared is equal to c squared. X squared plus 1 is equal to c squared, and c is equal to the square root of x squared plus 1. And I know that cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so my answer is adjacent, which is my x, and then my hypotenuse being x squared plus 1, the square root of x squared plus 1. You could also rationalize this, which some of you guys did, and that's okay. And you get that right there. Okay, so for number two, you were trying to solve an equation. It said inverse cosine of x is equal to inverse sine of 2x. And I also told you guys to give an exact answer. So for this one, what I'm going to do here is multiply by cosine on both sides so that I can get rid of inverse cosine. So now I have x is equal to cosine inverse sine of 2x. And what I'm going to do now is draw my triangle for sine. So I know that sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So I have opposite, which is 2x, and then my hypotenuse being 1. And then this is a part where most of you guys got confused on finding this right here, aka my adjacent, because apparently we forgot how to use the Pythagorean theorem. We have 2x squared plus b squared is equal to 1 squared. 2x squared, okay, is 4x squared. Most of you guys just said 2x squared. B squared is equal to 1 minus 4x squared. And b is equal to the square root of 1 minus 4x squared. Notice how this thing right here is not 1 minus 2x. You can't just say that, oh, you know, that I can cancel this and cancel this, or take the square root of this and square root of this to get 1 minus 2x. Because a lot of you guys did that for some reason. Don't know why, though. Anyways, still looking on the right side, I want cosine, and cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I know that this right side right here is 1 minus 4x squared. The thing is, most of you guys also stopped right here and forgot to solve. Remember that this is an equation, so I'm trying to solve for x. And notice how here I now have my left side, which is still x. And then my right side, which I found from using my triangle, was 1 minus 4x squared. I'm going to square both sides to get x squared is equal to 1 minus 4x squared. I'm going to add to get 5x squared is equal to 1. Divide by 5 to get 1/5. And then take the square root, which means I get plus or minus the square root of 1/5. Of course, notice how we are in quadrant 1 in this example. So I really don't want a negative value, meaning that my answer is just the square root of 1/5. keep it like that, or you could say 1 over root 5, or some of you guys did rationalize it, which is also fine. So my final answer for number 2 is root 5 over 5.